Jayline, I know that you are so active when it comes to really celebrating you, your identity, your heritage, all those things that make you you, your culture. Can you help us to understand some of the places at Roosevelt where other women who identify in similar ways as you can find connection and community, and not just women, really anybody?
Yes, so as you did mention, being a woman in STEM is one thing, but being a woman of color in STEM is different because we do cross more hurdles. So I did encounter about a couple of situations at Roosevelt where I was affected by being a woman of color in STEM to the point where I brought it up to my dean. The first time, I guess you can say, is when I remember I was taking a pre-cal class, and it was my first Gen Chem 1 exam score. And I had a classmate, Caucasian classmate, that made me repeat my score 3 times to her because she couldn't believe I scored so well, or I think we scored around the same range. To me, I wondered, why are you asking me 3 times for my score? Is it because of the way I look? Like, why? Why is this happening? The second time, I remember we were in our biology lab, and there was a Caucasian classmate of mine in front of me that was asking for a pen. We were face to face, like across from each other. I was like, I have a pen, you can borrow it. And I reached out my hand, and she just looked at me and she looked away. And to me, that was like, okay, I'm never gonna ask for my help no more. It's you then, It was very frustrating feeling like that, because what is wrong with me? Why can't you just accept I'm in the same chair, I'm in the same room as you are? There's nothing wrong with that. The third time I want to say was when I was my pre-health science club. It was the moment where I decided I don't want to be in this environment, right, at Roosevelt. The pre-health science club was mostly with Caucasian students that lived in their dorms at Roosevelt, which is good for them. But I just didn't feel welcomed. I didn't feel like I belonged there. There wasn't students that commuted. There wasn't students that looked like me in the room. So that's when I established Latin Med Allies. Latin Med Allies is a club I established for people that do look like me and allies. So you don't have to be a person of color, student of color, but it is a community. It's a community where you really are able to see people that look like you as your guest speakers. So we bring in doctors, nurses, medical students, nursing students, all different fields. We bring them there as guest speakers. And we also have field trips. And this semester coming up, we plan on approaching the 5 pillars of a professional program, which is volunteerism, community service, leadership, and clinical experience. So we're going to try our best to just hit those 5 pillars along our club members. But yeah, being a woman of color in STEM is really, really hard.